Can someone make a VLR post for me?
I can.
Yeah, sure.
Unless you want to do it. But I can.
Yeah. It'd be great if you could.
I have it up already. So.
Nice.
Yeah, I also have the live chat open as well.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to VLR. Are You Listening? We will be starting a new episode featuring Meg Hanya and also a new host, which is 229FN. Math Material will be here, but he will be in here around 20 minutes, so just run with us three for now. We'll be going over EMEA, Americas, and EWC, and also a lot of drama going on, because apparently there's so much drama going on in these last 2 weeks. We couldn't start an episode last week because it was a timing issue. But yeah, so we have a lot to go over. This episode will generally be more fast-paced than the other one, so we'll have less discussion and more broad topics. But let's get right into it with the EMEA playoffs. Let's go straight into it. Yes. So we have, first off is the Team Heretics versus Fnatic Upper Finals, right? So in here, we Fnatic pulled off a bit of not necessarily an upset, but like being the underdogs coming into this matchup, winning 2-0 over Heretics. It was a relatively close series here and there. It was definitely a bigger landslide than people thought. Maybe it was people were expecting more of 11-13, maybe a bit of overtime, and then Fnatic actually won a pretty dominant series. It was quite convincing from them. So yeah, let's start off with any thoughts. Hand that off to you, Mekanya, first.
Yeah, the fact in this series, Heretics just managed to get 14 rounds is so shocking. You know, I think I was one of the only ones that bet Fnatic on this game and believing Fnatic is actually the best team in EMEA. But whoa, that was harsh. And yet, it was not, I would say, it was... There's nothing special to say in this game. It was just a stomp. It was two maps where team played the meta. They didn't have any off-pick, I think.
Yeah.
Whose team tried to play on their force, and yet just Heretics is just worse than Fnatic. So I don't know if it's because Heretics got the choke debuff when it's come to a final, or if it's just Fnatic that is just an amazing team. But yeah, we will know.
Yeah, 29. You got any opinions you wanna?
I mean, yeah, I think for especially the first map, Woot just wasn't in form. I think especially on the Taeho, he just doesn't look like he just isn't in form on the Taeho, especially because if you look at his stats, like his Taeho rating is 1 compared to like his other agents were like Gecko and ISO, where he gets 1.2. So, I mean, I just think the meta just doesn't suit him well as well. And on the Icebox, Mini Boot just wasn't finding value as well. Like Kayak would constantly be shutting him down as well because I mean, it was double Sentinel comp. So Mini Boot's Neon just wasn't finding as much value as it usually does.
Yeah, I can sort of agree with that. I think that before Miniboo was looking a lot more dominant. I think if you just look at like if I just click here his stats, he was insane in EMEA. And in
Yeah.
these more recent series, he was like against Fnatic, he was struggling quite a bit. I mean, look, he was the #1 player, and he dropped down to the fifth player, which is it's like it's obvious that Fnatic were very good at shutting down Team Heretics, right? So
Mhm.
I think it was quite impressive from them. I think that I mean Fnatic played an incredible series. Kayak was insane. I mean
Yes.
this guy he's single-handedly bringing to like Fnatic up to the stage. Honestly, everybody else also playing well. Normally you will look at like Crashies and Boaster for like underperformances on Fnatic, but you really couldn't see that. They were playing very solid. They were playing the energy was very nice, right? And it was just an impressive series overall from Fnatic. From Team Heretics, maybe a little bit disappointing. You know, we were kind of hoping for a little bit more, especially with how good this team was looking in, especially beating Fnatic in stage 1 in groups. But yeah. So
I mean, yeah. Because Heretics won 2-0 in group stage.
yeah, and it
Yes.
wasn't relatively close at all.
No. I mean, it was
Sometimes you
also
just have some day off, and I just thought it was that for Fnatic, and I was pretty confident that Fnatic would beat Heretics.
Mhm.
Okay.
Shall we go to the next game?
Yeah, let's go to the next game,
Yeah, we can go to the next game.
which is actually Team Liquid versus Na'Vi, quite a close series overall, where Team Liquid win overall. Kiko coming off in an amazing series, and yeah. So let me get into it because this is my team and my favorite team. So yeah. First of all, this is a great showing because it was not at the Nats show, right? Team Liquid, they've been running into a lot of problems where it's just sort of you have Nats going around getting a lot of kills, winning a lot of impact rounds, and then the other players are maybe sleeping a bit. Especially like there's like a lot of players that can play well, like Palitek, Camo, Kiko, Serial maybe still in the questioning, but like we know they have these like pop-off performances, which is like Kiko right now over here dropping 59 kills, which is like so it's always wondering about like if these players can turn up at the same time because we'll get into Team Liquid in a bit, but they've been struggling quite a bit right now. But on this part, they look nice. On Icebox, they played a very close series, 11-13. They were actually coming from a comeback over here because they were up. They were losing 4-8. So I think that was quite impressive by them. Hero had an amazing series. I mean, this was one of Hero's best series I've ever seen from him. He does fall off a little bit in later on, but it's making me more confident in him because I was thinking he was a little bit shakier prior to coming into Na'Vi. I mean, not Na'Vi, but coming into this playoff stage, and he played much better than I expected to. Xiao was always Xiao. Going split 2, I think that was just. I mean, Team Liquid were really good at split up to this point, and I mean, you had Nats popping off, right? It was a great series overall.
Yeah.
And then we go into the Ascent, which was actually Na'Vi got to pick the side. They picked the Double Senti and actually still lost. So
Mhm.
it's quite interesting
I mean,
how that went.
yeah, if we talk about that round 2 though, the anti-eco.
Oh, that round 2 was. It was.
I have some mixed feeling about what you said earlier, and the fact the series was close. Sure, Navi just pick one game, but the game was pretty close, and the two last game were not close at all. So I want to say, yeah, this game was right. This is proof between the third team of EMEA and the, let's say, top 8. Every team are really close, and any team can do anything between this pack. But in fact, I'm not sure that's true. I think Liquid is far better. They almost beat Navi on their map on Icebox. On Split, they just stomped them, and on Ascent, they started on attack, and they managed to do 6-6 after the first half, even if they do the attack. So at this point, I knew this would be a win for Team Liquid. The 6-6 in attack is just...
I mean, if you get 6-6 on attack, it's just too much.
Yeah, especially when you play double Sentinels. And so I think there's still some margin between Team Liquid and Navi there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay, I can definitely agree with that. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, especially that split. That split was like completely shut down of Navi. But yeah, we can move on to the next one, which was BBL versus Foot. This was actually quite a hype matchup. You know, the Turkish teams going against each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Always is, yeah.
It's always a banger when these two play. I mean, it was 12-14, 13-2, and then a 13-10. So split. I would just want to say BBL are running a very good split overall. Their split is looking really nice. The other two maps, you know, pretty close. Could have gone either way. So
Because Foot didn't Foot pick split?
Foot, I believe, did pick split.
Yeah, it was, yes, you're true. It
Yeah.
was the pick of Foot. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
the Haven game was a little bit interesting because it was only the Cypher did an amazing game there, and the rest of team were really hard. It went to overtime, and then Foot won. But yeah, the series was pretty close. When when you go to the last game and the last game is 13-10, then yeah, it's both team could have won.
Yeah, and we didn't get VLR ratings for this because I think there was like a tech pause, but
yeah,
so we couldn't really see.
Yeah, on Haven there was a tech pause, which yeah, back with the EMEA tech
Yeah.
pauses, but yeah.
Or sorry, Haven, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at a captain, really, the stats don't look good for him there.
So okay, I do want to phrase a question for you guys, which is that do you think that BBL and Foot are a relatively, do you think that if you play them again they are relatively end of 50-50, or do you think that
Oh yeah, 100%.
BBL is like
I think
clearly better?
I think BBL has a very slight edge, but it's just I think they have a higher ceiling as well, but sometimes Yampi just doesn't reach it, so it's...
My heart want to say yes, but my reason want to say no, because this is I'm just forced to speak about the Saudi event, the EWC, and they didn't they play each other?
They did, yeah.
They
It was
did,
3-1, I believe.
Yeah.
So in span
Or no,
of
sorry, 2-1.
less,
Wait.
yeah.
I can check for you right now. Give me a second.
No, they didn't play each other.
They didn't.
They didn't play each other.
But yeah. But you know the fact they lose twice in a row, and the fact BBL just takes the first place in the qualifier in Esports World Cup, where Foot ended only 4th, just make me think. With the current form, BBL is far better, and if tomorrow there are games between BBL and Foot Esport, I would give 65% for BBL. But
65?
you know, yeah.
Damn.
But if the game is in, let's say, 2 months, maybe the fact BBL is better than Foot is just because of confidence. When you are confident in your skill, you will play better. BBL just have a ton of wins, and so they take more confidence on this, especially on these games. So if they play tomorrow, BBL will be 65. But if you wait 2 months, then, and you tell me you have to spread this team in 2 months, then I will say it's a 50.
Okay, I think. I mean, I do think BBL overall are a better team and more consistent than Foot, but you know, it's really hard for me to say like one team is like. I mean, I would pick BBL over Foot, but I wouldn't say like BBL are like a tier gap higher than Foot. You know, if you know what I mean. I think they're just like
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
As I was saying, it's just confidence. I don't think they are just better, far better, and they will win anytime it happens. Just in this moment, they have the confidence, so they will win,
Yeah, I think
and
that's
that's
fair.
all.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on then to the next match, which is the qualifying match to get the last team into Toronto, which is BBL versus Team Liquid. And this one, it was a bit of a back and forth here and there, but overall Team Liquid ended up taking it. We first got into Haven, which was BBL's pick, and Team Liquid just slightly edged it out. I mean, this was was looking like it was BBL favored, and then Team Liquid come back with 5 whole rounds. It was like 11-6 down. Sorry, no, 11-8 down, and so ended up winning
11-8,
Haven. And I mean, first of all, my GOAT, Nats Masterclass, winning this map,
Yeah.
getting 23 kills. But a bit disappointing series for Kiko, actually, if you just look at it throughout. I mean, he was coming off as like the top-rated player from EMEA.
Mm-hmm.
A little shaky there. Serial still putting up like an average performance. Camo not showing his peak performance either. So from Team Liquid's side, it was besides Nats, everybody else was looking a little shaky, which is what I'm saying, right? You have one player peaking in the match, and everybody else is sort of sleeping, which is it's not great, but it does show potential if your players do start peaking to get like getting at their peak performance together. On the side of BBL, I think that it all played pretty well, especially on Split. I think their Split looks incredible. And Team Liquid ended up closing up on Fracture again with this like nice little closing half of 4 rounds. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it into you two for anything you want to add.
Yeah, this was maybe one of the closest series in the bracket. It could have been 2-0 for BBL. They could have win Haven, and they could have win Split, and just 2-0, and BBL is in. And so yeah, I think for this moment with the current form, BBL in Liquid as in the same position. I just have to leave for a second. I will back in 2 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, because if you look at the players, right, it's Nats for the first 2 maps stepping up, and then because Kiko played horribly for the first 2 maps, he was like the lowest rated player in both,
Yeah.
and then he stepped up for the Fracture, and then Nats I guess didn't have to do as much, so he was only 1.04,
Yeah.
but then yeah, so this is really one of those teams where it's always 1 or 2 players stepping up and just doing, I guess, the lion's share of the work, and then it's between Nats, Kiko, Vatatek. I mean, even Serial has had some pretty decent games recently.
Yeah, see, I think he's gotten much more like used to the team, which is helping his performance. Yeah, so I mean, there's qualified Liquid into EMEA, but they have not been looking great after this because right afterwards they lost to Team Heretics, and it was a bad loss. This was, I mean, if
it really wasn't. I mean, it was like the numbers looked bad, but Heretics just looked like the better team there. There really was not much. Like even on that ascent, like I got an early 5-0 lead, and then Miniboo and Rians really just kind of took over at that point.
Yeah. The reasons why the numbers.
I have absolutely no idea what did happen in this ascent.
Yeah.
That Team Liquid should have won this one. Yeah, everything was aligned for a win. They end the attack phase in 7-5.
Yeah.
And they are in defense now on Ascent with double controller team. How could you lose this? And I don't know. They just managed to throw this amazing amount of advantage and just give this win to Heretics that was just on fire. Sometimes you just have an amazing day and you just stomp your opponent, and that's exactly what did happen for Heretics, I think.
Yeah, I mean
everybody was just in form. Like not there really nobody looked bad there. Like not one of the Heretics players looked bad. I mean, I guess you could argue Boo, but even he was getting kills when he needed to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rian's got an ace.
Yeah, I mean Rian's got an ace. I mean Benji Fishy. First of all, he came into this year looking really shaky. Like when I mean shaky, his
kickoff was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, he was not looking like last year's player because last year he was fighting for that like first place like in the world for Sentinel, right? Competing with Meteor and like,
100%.
stuff like that. And this year, he looked shaky. Comes back into this playoff, he transformed, different player. I mean, his confidence is back.
Yeah. Like,
And
the first map, that one shot on the 1v1, what round was that?
uh,
It was 10 maybe? Round 10?
10,
That shot was perfect.
yeah, but I mean, he played incredible. And Team Liquid, they got shut down on the Haven and Icebox. I mean, it wasn't even like it was just they got destroyed completely. Team Heretics looks incredible. And
Yeah, it was Icebox like 13-3 or 13-2, yeah.
13-2, 13-3. And I believe that is our member Math Material, who's just joined the stream. Yeah.
Oh,
That's me.
Hello, Math Material.
yeah. I mean, there
So
was one
basically
player on
what-
that Icebox.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yes.
this game.
Yeah, are you gonna join
Maxine
Yeah.
still looked uncomfortable.
are you gonna join the OBS or are you
Okay.
gonna chill like no?
I would, but I don't see the link.
If you just go into episode info, like where you normally see like the announcements.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see
Great,
it. I see it.
perfect. Okay. Then I guess we'll continue the discussion. I mean, I think we are done with this series unless anyone else wants to add anything.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. It was a really stomp, and next game is interesting. And I think there are a lot of things about next series.
Wait, we're talking about the grand final now, or?
Yeah, we're gonna go in the grand
Yeah.
final. Unless you want to add anything.
No, I got nothing more to add to that match. That was
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Fnatic versus
Not
Team
really.
Heretics, the grand final. Right.
To have those conversations.
Okay, so this series,
how things kick
I
off.
really thought it would be a stomp for Fnatic after 1 map and a half. Oh, there are some noises.
Wait, just give me a second.
Yeah, it's solved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
After split, 13-4. After first half of Icebox, 10-2. We'll say, okay, it's over. Heretics will never take 13 round in this game. They will just gonna get stomped and it's over. But in the second half on Icebox, they starting to wake up. It was a little bit too late, sadly, that didn't manage to win Icebox. But the BO5 started at this point. And then the fracture was okay. The fracture was alright. The game was really close. And even if Fnatic won this one, it could have been for Heretics. So even if they are 3-0 on this BO5, they just woke up a little bit too late. And if it wouldn't be the case, they could have won this grand final. So this is not that alarming for Heretics, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, if we just look at the series itself, they won 13-4 on splits, looked really bad. Then they came on to Icebox, where they were really sort of started waking up at 13-9. And then Fracture, they closed it out with a very close series. I mean, first of all, Kayak is...
Yeah.
what,
And he was just Thanos. There's really no better way to put that.
what can I say? He's 40 kills. He's positive 40 kills. I mean, it's insane. I think in one of the interview, like Alpha was like, "This is the hardest I've been carried," and it's like fair, man. I mean, think about it. This guy Alpha has been on the team with excellent players like Durka, right? And he's going and Kayak's dropping numbers like incredible, like in a way that we really haven't seen before. I mean, he was always good,
Yeah.
right? We saw him like his
Yeah.
talent in EMEA Ascension, and people sort of build up the storyline that maybe Kayak's a onliner, right? Couldn't perform on stage, but I mean, whatever series is that is gone, because this is one of the biggest stages you can play, right? I mean, it's this and like into the Masters, and man, I just hope he can put up this form of performance like in Masters, because if so, Fnatic looks scary.
I mean, yeah, if he plays like that, if Fnatic have a chance of winning the whole thing, I mean,
Yeah. So, for Math and Meg, is there anything you want to add?
No, I
No,
just
not really.
no, I just like the resume I did of the series. It's really a shame Heretics just was not here for 1 map and a half. And internet
Yeah, I mean,
comebacks later.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Then we should be finished with EMEA. Let's end up with leaving with some sort of final thoughts, right?
I mean, Will Heretics ever win a final?
Will Heretics
Yeah.
ever win a final?
I mean, sooner or later, eventually, right? Even PaperX won something. Eventually,
don't
they will
know.
get one.
HyperX won?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they did win that. They did win a regional at one point. I forgot about
yeah,
that.
they won a regional. I'm sure, like split 2, right? I
Yeah.
think Team Heretics got split 2.
Yeah.
To answer that question, I think it will highly depend on what Riot will do for 2027, because in 2027 they may reduce the number of partner teams, and I'm not fully sure Heretics will be a favorite to stay in the partner program if we reduce to, let's say, 6 teams or even 8 teams.
You think?
Yeah,
I think
because
I mean, I think they would have to keep a Spanish org, and because there is quite a bit of Spanish fans, and I think they would
Yeah.
favor Heretics over Koi.
I would
No.
think they would have to favor Heretics
No
over
way.
Koi.
No way.
no
I think
way.
they.
Koi is you know, what do you want for a team? For a partner team is to have viewer even if the team is bad. That's what you expect for a partner team. If your argument
Yeah.
is saying, "Oh, Heretics is an amazing team, they should stay, they should be partner team," then that's wrong. The
I mean,
Heretics,
they
if
they
the
get
only
viewership.
argument for, yeah, they've got viewership because it's a good team, and it's the concept of an ascension team to be here only if you're a good team, and a partner team is a team that have a reason to be here even if they are bad. Heretics, if tomorrow Heretics becomes the worst team in EMEA, nobody would want Heretics to stay in the region. But with Koi, you have Ibai, and Ibai all alone is able to carry a lot of viewers by himself just by doing a stream. Same for Kameto, just doing Kameto here just will bring a lot of viewers. And Heretics doesn't have this firepower, so it's an amazing Ascension team. But I don't will take it as a partner team, a little bit like Ascend, you know. Ascend won a championship and they didn't get partner, and yeah.
What do you think happens? Do you think Koi just nuke their roster and just sign the Heretics roster?
Yeah,
Because I mean, those players competing under the, I guess the Koi name would probably add more.
To be fair, I just think if that's happened, Heretics will stay as an Ascension team and keep their roster as an Ascension team. And until they get too old or they get too bad, they're gonna get demoted at some point. Maybe it can be a long time. For example, I don't think G2 is gonna be demoted before a long time. And same probably for Heretics. But I wouldn't be surprised if in, let's say, 5 years, they are an Ascension, they are not a partner team anymore. They just are an Ascension team and they get demoted with the same roster they currently have because they're getting too old.
And I think if also when they do 6 partner teams, they'll have tier 2 events being able to compete and like kick off in stage 1 and stuff. So
if partner team can participate in third party tournament?
no, I meant like because if you reduce it to 6 teams, they're not gonna have a kickoff of 6 teams. They're gonna have tier 2 teams in there.
No. You reduce the number of partner team of 6 teams, but you have 6 Ascension team.
Yeah.
So the number, technically, no team will be demoted. Every team that went to from partner to not being partner will stay as an Ascension team.
If Riot were to make a change that drastic, right? Add more Ascension slots. I think they'll definitely start small. It'll be an 8+4 system if that happens. Because the stability that having permanent teams bring, right? Being a permanent team is not just about having a good roster, but being a stable organization.
Yeah.
And
But I want to
If
bring
you-
up the
if you
point:
can have-
is Koi a stable team? Because I feel like there's always talks
They have-
about Koi being.
no, Koi just had
their
financial
management's
troubles, right?
horrible, but they have Movie Star behind them.
Yeah.
They have a
No, they have Movistar behind them, but I'm pretty sure I heard something about them having financial troubles.
Yeah, I heard they
Like
have
the
financial
Viper.
troubles, and there's quite a bit of there's like a bit of issues with Mad Lion, isn't there? Like there's like controversy with them. I have not too entrenched with like the information about that, but I believe there was something going around with Mad Lions having some issues.
Also, does Heretics have a tier 2 team? Because Koi have a really amazing tier 2 team.
Yeah, Heretics don't have an
No,
academy.
they
team.
don't. They don't have an academy. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is another argument for Koi. I really don't see Koi getting booted. It's an argument to have. Because, for example, I can speak because I'm French, but their derby, it's Koi versus KC. There a culture of beef between Ibai and Kameto, and when there are Koi versus KC, you will have a lot of viewers because it's just a game that is important. Here, the viewers are a little bit lower than expected because Koi is just trash and KC is was not in good shape ever. Now it's better, but
Yeah.
yeah. If you ask me, okay, you have to say the name of 6 teams you want to stay in the league, even if they are bad. I would have say Cassie, I would have say Koi, and for the other, I'd probably say either Foot or BBL, maybe Team
Gentlemates?
Liquid of Natix, maybe Gentlemates, but maybe it's too much French team to be counter as
Yeah,
a
true.
tier 1,
Yeah.
and Gentlemates is a little bit a young organization, so maybe it's a little bit too early to give them this advantage. So yeah.
I mean, it would have to
Yeah.
be, in my mind, it has to be Team Liquid, Fnatic, KC, sort of BBL or Foot, and then you bring in
And Navi.
KC. Navi also one, huge one, yeah.
No, you have to
Navi,
beat
yeah.
Navi, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, to answer to your question, will one day Heretics win a trophy? If Heretics stay a partner team, it will happen one day. But if it doesn't, because for a reason they are a contraction and they are just become an ascension team, I think it will be maybe a little bit harder for them.
All right, then
Yeah, makes
let's wrap up EMEA, and then we can get into sort of Americas, which has been up there for
Yeah.
a long time, but we have not actually fully covered it.
Mhm.
So
Oh, maybe we were supposed to talk about the brackets too, right? The stage 2 brackets for EMEA.
oh, we
Oh, the groups?
we can.
We
You want to
can.
do the yeah, we can do
Yeah, sure.
the international what's the exact name? I can't remember it. Esport World Cup. Yeah, Esport World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, we
Uh,
is for World Cup first now, or what's happening?
No, we do
you want to
Americas
do the
first, right?
EMEA only the EMEA qualifier for Esport World Cup, so we just stay on the EMEA topic.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, we can do that. EMEA EWC. Yeah, sure. Okay. Which, so what's the EWC going on? There's a lot of upset results, right? You have Wolves, sort of being eliminated from China. You have Team Liquid being eliminated from EMEA, and you have MRBR being eliminated to Americas, which are all like all your. I believe Pacific is fine. Everyone's still qualified there. I think Paper Rec qualified.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paper Rec's qualified.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paper X qualified.
Yeah,
The
so
games once
so
came the
besides
Pacific.
Paper X.
yeah, so besides Pacific,
Yeah.
the third seeds all didn't make it. So I want to bring up the question of is this whether this is maybe EWC sort of a Mickey Mouse event, right? Like teams don't really care about it, they didn't really prep for it, or if it's like more that that these other teams have more time to prep, and since they are so close to level, right? Because of the small prep they've gotten, because they don't have to play like a grand final or or not a grand
mean-
final,
Lower
but
final,
lower
yeah.
finals, yeah.
The games are still played on the previous patch, right? Where Teho isn't nerfed.
Wait, is
So,
Are
yeah.
they?
Yeah, pretty sure
I'm
they
actu-
are.
I'm actually not sure about this. Has Teho been
Is-
nerfed on the new patch? Like what
Pretty
matches are the matches played on?
Pretty sure it's the previous patch, right?
I think it's the same one as the stage 1. So yeah, probably
Yeah,
1008.
So a lot of the prep for teams which have already qualified, right? They're like your Team Liquid, your other third seed team. I forgot the name of Wolves Esport. They'll like to prep for Masters Bangkok. So not Bangkok, sorry, Toronto. And assuming they're still going with the prep they did for stage 1, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So considering they all lost to good teams, right? Team Liquid lost to BBL, who we knew were like a good solid team who could contest for the third place. And same with Carmine. I guess Carmine Core you could say was an upset result, but they played well, especially this what do you call their third map. I like this Lotus a lot. They finally made it work. Their Yoru Ray's idea, and putting Aviz on Duelist was again a good call. His
Mhm.
Phoenix, I'm sure he played Phoenix too, right? One map. I can't find it. Yeah, his Haven.
Yeah, he did on Haven.
Yeah, when I first saw this comp, I just saw it wouldn't work. I thought like, what is this? Phoenix Yoru and
Yeah.
even but they made it work. They kind of play like that They played like the ISO Yoru, have the Phoenix just take fights, and have Yoru as an entry. I think this was a really good round for Abyss because we know he's a good player, but he hasn't been performing that well, right? When he first joined the roster, so it's good to actually have him play well, and it's good. French fans can finally be happy. KC made it to an international again.
Yeah, KC did make it to EWC. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's try into it, right? So I don't want to go by each match one by one because that's
They played
I
a
just
lot of
want
games.
to two things. First, I just want to answer the question: is that a Mickey Mouse tournament? I think it will be something really weird because you will have some teams that just need to take a nap because they, for example, if you are a team that just end C2. For example, Heretics, you have a lot of games, and then you have Masters, and you also have a lot of games, and then you arrive to the International World Cup, which is supposed to be the time where you prepare new things for Split 2, and you take time for yourself. So you will have some teams that will just are here to chill, and teams that didn't play for 1 month and just want to try hard and win as much as possible. So it will be a really wild tournament, and the winner will... if any team win these games, if it's a Masters team that win this event, I would say, okay, this was important. But if it was a team that was not in the Masters that win this tournament, I will be like more, yeah, it's a little bit Mickey Mouse. It's good that there are
I
these...
mean, the main event is
one
single
more
elimination,
tournament.
isn't it?
it is. It's single elimination, from my knowledge.
Yeah, well, okay, fully Mickey
Yeah,
Mouse.
like,
I'm just really sad, in fact, that they are not tier 2 team allowed in this tournament because it will be really interesting to have like a team coming from, let's say, seed 4, seed 5, and some teams coming from tier 2 that would be really interesting to have top of tier 2 versus a mid of tier 1, and I think that would have bring way more hype and views than just a second master with teams that just gonna chill versus teams that don't chill.
Yeah.
And about your question about how cover the qualifier, I just propose we just say one of 2 words about each team, so we don't have to cover all single games, and just talking about team will just make us covering everything, and we are gonna be good.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's start off from the bottom and we'll get to the top. Starting off with Koi, who ended 9th and 10th.
yeah.
Koi,
I mean,
Koi.
Not
Yeah.
much to really say.
there's really not much to
yeah.
say there.
They did bring in their new roster, which is adding out Monster and Batty G and the tank, and taking away Shados. I need to remember the players now. Shados, Grabinho, and the other guy.
The other guy, that's it.
Yeah, the other
named
guy
him.
who I can't remember who his name is now. But they did play with it. I mean, I wouldn't say they looked much better. I think the tank would be a great addition for the team in the future, but yeah, we'll see how that goes.
That's the only plus, isn't it? The Natang finally has a roster to play with.
Yeah, the tank has a roster to play with. Everything else, bit shaky. But let's go into Apex, who lost Governor, which is maybe a blessing in disguise. He was not playing the greatest, I would say. And they lost Floor, which we will be getting into later, because Floor has found herself in quite a bit of troubles as well.
I mean, yeah.
But
Are you sure?
yeah, but they played with this roster with Tag and Simon, but I don't think these are your permanents. I think they still are looking for 2 members for Apex.
Yeah, just tests. They just scream for them, to be honest. So
Yeah.
not a lot to say about Pex.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they lost Governor as well, so they're down like 2 or 3 players. So.
Yeah. Let's go into Team Vitality then, which... Oh,
Oof, yeah, that's
I mean,
yeah.
we were talking about how bad Team Vitality's trajectory was looking, and I mean,
Yeah.
this was
Like, they just-
especially bad.
Yeah. I don't think Vitality
don't
will
know.
just do some things. They will not go to Paris.
I don't
What
think
even
so.
happened to them? Was it like
I just want to bring up the same issue from before, right? They didn't change. They switched their roles, I guess, a bit. But they didn't change their general play style. They're still like defaulting. They haven't tried anything new. They
yeah?
got a new coach and then they didn't move past that. I think there
I
might
have a
be some
different opinion. Yeah, go, continue.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm just saying, if I think there's a bit of a leadership issue, like within the roster, because
Yeah.
Safe has made it clear he likes you can call it a Counter Strike style, the way Safe likes to play the game. Contact and
I mean,
default
let's
slow.
just say it. He's just not a good IGL. I mean, there's not really much better way to say that.
Yeah, and I don't know if the coach has much say in it because we haven't seen the impact of the new coach so far.
I mean,
I
yeah.
mean, they signed
Okay.
At least I haven't.
a psychological performance coach.
That
Right?
is true. Yeah,
So now
yeah,
we have
To
Safe
me-
for that.
To
Yeah.
me, it's not. I have a different opinion about Vitality. I just think what's happening in kickoff is there are a huge change in the meta with the appearance of Tero that just make everything change. And every team struggle to adapt to the new meta. And you have some teams that just only rely on firepower that have absolutely zero game plan. That was typically Vitality. And maybe a little bit T1, and a lot of team played really bad having no team play. And in that case of situation, teams that only rely on firepower and, for example, for G2, firepower, but also on fundamentals, are the teams that gonna win because firepower, whatever the meta is, it's gonna be useful. And that's how Vitality just end first. But they were bad because at this time during kickoff, everyone beside G2 were bad, were absolutely horrible, and that's why Vitality just managed to be the best team in the EMEA because it was just the meta that was here. And Split 1 arrived, everyone progressed, everyone plays better, and when you play only on firepower and confidence, because when you only have firepower, the only thing that matters is confidence, then at the first lose, you will crumble. And that's what did happen when they played against Fnatic and they lose. They start to adopt, and when you only have firepower, you will just adopt and you will just play worse and worse, and you just gonna end at this point. It's just every other team has progressed, every other team have a better comprehension of meta, but Vitality, even if they have better comprehension of meta, it will be useless because they don't manage to translate it in the game. And what is even more horrible is that when they try to play more team play, they start to lose them. They start to lose the firepower because it seems if they try to have one, they lose the other one, and so that's why Vitality just don't grad. It's just other teams that just improve.
I think also when they started as a team during kickoff and during stage 1, it was harder to anti-strat them. But then once people actually figure out how they play, like what their system is, what they do, how safe IGL is, they just kind of anti-stratted them, and just were able to shut them down.
Yeah. I do want to bring a point, which was I do think I agree in the sense that teams weren't as good as like right now, obviously, but I don't think that they were bad per se. Besides G2, because I mean I think the teams that made it to Bangkok were still pretty decent teams at the time, especially in the meta. But I also want to talk about the fact that why Vitality looked so good before Bangkok was not that because that was just it was relying on firepower, but the reason why they looked good was because what they would do is they would constantly default, they would kill somebody, and then they would open up the entirety of the map, and then from there they would make good decisions, right? They would make quick, fast decisions that genuinely looked good, which is why people were saying, oh, Safe looks like a good IGL. It was not because Safe's calling was bad. Safe's calling was like everyone was calling was bad, and then Safe just managed to be decent. It was more the fact that Vitality had a lot more tools, a lot more access, right? Because everyone was like sort of playing fundamentally. They were like not as good because you have a lot of teams that are like just new teams. They aren't meshing well, right? Still building like chemistry. And when Vitality come on, they have Dirk just shoot one of you guys, and then you have just lost B-long control. What are you gonna do? Vitality can call a perfect game after that. Whereas now, Vitality, they're struggling to get these huge advantage rounds. They're not getting into 3v5s anymore. They're not getting into these rounds where Les is just getting 3 for no reason. And when that happens, what's happening with Vitality? They're not gonna make as good decisions, right? Because they have less tools to work with. So, yeah, I mean, I think that this was sort of opposite of what people were expecting. People were expecting Vitality to be sort of bad in the beginning because Sage's IGLing was questionable and then improved later on in the year. But I think we are seeing the opposite where Safe's IGLing looked good in the beginning because of the tools I mentioned, right? But now, because teams are getting better and better, Safe's IGLing can't keep up because he's not built as an IGL. And so Vitality's decision making is getting worse and worse. And also their firepower is obviously they can rely on it less, right? Because teams are getting better. So
Mhm.
yeah. Next,
I like how instead
Anyone
of
want to
praising
add something?
Gentlemates, yeah, instead of praising Gentlemates for playing a good game, we're just pounding on Vitality for being shit. Think of it all.
I mean, it kind of goes both ways there, though. Like, yeah, Vitality sucked, but I mean, yeah, mates played well. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
the fact that like they closed out a 20 round, what do you call it, 38 round overtime, just it's a good sign.
yeah.
I hope like
Yeah.
they see
But
they do well so far.
yeah. Let's talk about Giant X though, because they also played with their new roster, right? Subbing out Purpo, who was having a, let's be honest, awful season. He was
yeah.
he was not looking good on the smokes roll. They brought
I
in
mean, they beat.
our Inflictless. Yeah.
Yeah, but look at it. They beat Apex. That's all. That's the only team they beat.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they beat Apex, and then they lost to Vitality, who we were just shedding on, and they lost against
Yeah.
Navi, who actually looked pretty decent. So, um,
They are a little bit better, but definitely not the level of a team that can go to the playoff.
yeah,
Mhm.
All I'll say is I know like Purple was having a tough season, but I still prefer him over Grabinho. They
no,
probably should have tried to make it work.
No, I don't.
I don't agree.
I don't agree
I think
either.
it's like Purple is not a bad player. Like when Giantings brought him last year, right? At the very end to like salvage whatever they had left of the season. Purple had some really good moments there. I still preferred him over Grabinho, but
I just think that Grabinho. I mean, if we're talking about smokes roll, I think Grabinho is just better. I think he's better. I think his sensor's better. I think he's just having a rough season. Whereas Purple, I've never been confident in his controller. I think his controller is very questionable.
no, but
I mean,
if you want,
he
I
put
mean, yeah, that makes sense.
if he put
So instead of having
yeah.
instead of going for firepower, they're just having more stable players. No, players are more comfortable in their role.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think Popo played well on the duelist role, but but we are not many teams are not needing duelists as much, and
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't think he's good enough to justify.
No, I'm just a
picking
big
him.
fan of
He's just not good
duelists switching
enough,
over to
no.
controllers.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm just a big fan of duelists switching to controllers.
Even his ISO is 0.82. Like,
yeah. I mean, this season
he just isn't good enough to play duelist in tier 1.
Oh, Kiri is in tears right now. Kiri's hearing Purple's not good enough for tier 1. He's in tears. He's making a TikTok call for you. Anyways, but let's go into Gentlemates,
Ultimates.
who performed much better than they expected.
Yeah.
They brought in the new I don't actually think did they bring in new people?
No, they
No.
pick Vekash
They
with
pick
a
a
sub,
Vekash,
but
yeah.
I think they will play with the Turkish demon when
Yeah.
it's split too. So this is really interesting because not Gentlemates looks like a team that can go to playoff without a star player they just bought.
I think
yeah.
They got rid of Click. I think that's probably the best thing they could have done.
Yeah, that's just the problem with Gentlemates. Click was not good, was not confident. I don't know why he was that bad, but that just make Gentlemate looks horrible. Even if I think without Click, this is a decent team, and by decent team, I say they can make a top 5 in EMEA, maybe a top 4. So now if they just hire a player that is just amazing, and the Turkish demon will just be here.
Yeah.
They
I think if we
contenders for champion.
if we give them time, I think Kamek, I think Mini, I think this team can be decent. Like I think
Yeah.
they can be top 6, top 5.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
definitely.
I think for mates they can be decent, but I wouldn't say they are. They I still say that there is a tier gap between them and the upper teams, right, in the top 4, right?
Yes.
But I'd say
Yes.
that they can bring an upset win or two that can maybe sneak them into a top 4.
I don't think they're making top 4.
Even
No,
with
but
I don't
yeah.
I don't think I'm giving them like a 10% chance to make top 4, but I think there is a chance. You know what I'm saying?
I don't see
I
them
wanna
beating.
bring
I don't
the
see them beating BBL. I don't see them beating Liquid.
I think
I don't see
even
them
with
beating Fnatic.
the duelist of BBL Pacific, because the duelist of BBL Pacific was just amazing.
he's not old enough, right? I think his name is Comeback.
the duelist to be Yellow Pacific.
Yeah, come back.
is-
Pretty sure.
Yeah,
Come
come
back.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, he's not old enough. He was 16 when he played in
yeah,
Ascension.
yeah. He's definitely not old enough.
He gonna play for Split 2, no?
They
Can
I
he?
don't think he can.
they picked him up, no? Oh, doesn't say, but I guess not.
I need to
Mm,
check.
I mean-
I think they just hire him just for the Split 2, because if you are mate and you hire him and you
Oh wait,
maybe
wait,
you're
wait,
gonna
wait,
get
wait, wait,
relegated before.
wait, wait. I just
Yeah,
remembered.
June
It
June
doesn't
14th. He turns 18 in 2 weeks.
it doesn't even matter if General Mates make top 4. They won't go to champs because they don't have enough champ points. They played a really awful stage 1 and they didn't. And then if you look at like Team Liquid, I think they have quite a bit, right?
Wasn't it the top 2 from Split 2 go to champs?
Yeah,
right?
so they have to make top 2 to go to champs.
But then the top 2 that are already qualified, like if the top, yeah, because then they have to go points. So
Yeah, it's top 2 and then they get points. And I don't think General
Mhm.
Mates, because did they win a game? They won against Liquid one time.
they did. When was this?
This was the very first game, and Cyril just
Yeah.
wasn't playing. He
The
wasn't.
Scavex's revenge game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but again, just Gentlemates just rid of the biggest
But-
the biggest weakness, and they replace it. But maybe what is now the biggest good point. So that
I mean,
is
yeah,
really a
Serial
fight
went minus
for me.
15, but Click went minus 18. Like that's, I mean, they got rid of Click. I think it's possible.
Definitely have the easier group. I'd say Alpha is easier than Omega as it stands. They could beat Giant, they could beat Vitality if they don't fix their shit. And Foot have not looked
Yeah.
like Foot looked they've looked alright, but again, mates could beat
Yeah.
them. Like that's a team.
Don't
to
Vitality
beat.
look.
is- Vitality is such a
Don't
coin
look.
flip.
Yeah, don't look at too much at Split 1 for Gentlemates, because as we said,
Mhm.
it's just not the same teams. They just replace one player, and this to me this changed absolutely everything about Gentlemates.
Yeah. Okay. Then let's move on then. Which will be
Navi.
Navi, who, I mean, they've been looking much better throughout this this from playoffs to now.
Mhm.
But I still see that they do have some glaring issues from here to there, right?
I'm not sure I would say they look better than playoffs. They lose 2-0 versus Carmine, and playoffs they beat them 2-0. So
No, I'm saying I think that from stage 1 they looked pretty shaky, and then from after beating Vitality to right now they've been looking like a much better team.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
I mean they beat Mates and then they lost to Foot in the series, which was let me check. Yeah.
I mean,
They beat
Relatively
Mate
close.
twice, Giant takes once, and they lose versus Carmine and Foot.
Yeah, so I mean they played pretty decent. I think that they have a lot of like these nice macro calls, which is another thing like similar to Liquid, where they'll have some rounds which is just really nice, but then they'll also have some rounds where you're just sort of scratching your head, you're wondering what's going on, right? Like what are they doing? So I mean I think so the problem with them is that unlike Liquid, they have their firepower is generally less, and I think that
yeah.
they are more prone to making these really weird decisions.
They have a lower ceiling than a bunch of these other teams, though, as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think their floor is much better, but the ceilings.
Yes.
I don't think they. I think I see Gentle Mates have a bigger chance to make top 4 than Navi do. Just-
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with this.
Yeah. So yeah, anyone I want to add to Navi?
Now,
No. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, their best chance is just to get rid of Koala, I guess, but I guess I think he brings down the ceiling of the team. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, Koala's not been great so far for Navi, but yeah.
No.
I shared a same opinion at the start of the season. I didn't think Koala was that good, but so I think definitely he's looked better and better. But like he plays better with the team, and he looks solid. Like
He got
if you were to
outfragged by
upgrade,
Angel.
yeah, that happened like once. But I'm just saying he looks more.
It's happened more than once.
Yeah, and his op looks good too. Sure, I think with
His
if he
op
doesn't have an
his op is
defense
not
itself.
bad. I will give him that.
His op is
not
good.
bad. Yeah.
I'm just saying he looks more comfortable and he's still a solid duelist player, I think. And replacing him is kind of a gamble because it's not like he plays terribly. He'll do his job, but
Mhm. His highest
having a
rating is on
duelist,
Omen.
yeah, and on Icebox, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he played like 2 maps of that.
6 maps.
Same thing, 2-6, same number. Trust me.
Yeah, 2 equals 6. Anyways,
Yeah, I'm out for you. Trust me, guy.
Let's talk about Foot Esports. He ended up in 4th. I mean, for them, I think this is sort of a disappointing performance. I think they wanted to maybe because they picked up Zeus and they were looking to put up into a higher tier. Getting 4th is a bit disappointing for them. For sure, I think that they wanted at least top 3. It was
I don't want to say it, but they're a bunch of pussies, man. I watch them play. They just hide like little pussies. I want them to peak something. I want them to make plays, but they don't do anything. They're just afraid that one bad play will make them lose the game. It doesn't matter. Just go for plays. That's all. I'm just. They need to someone needs to step up. Not in the
Yeah.
sense they need to frag more. I think their firepower is alright, but someone needs to. They need to play like Jogimo. Not like in the firepower department, but someone who's wild like him. Someone who can just create those moments
run
for
it
him
down.
to create those opportunities to get back in the game. They don't have a player like that right now. I think they're all just. Again, I'm
Are
not going
you
to call
telling
it
me
pussies
that?
again with this.
Are you telling me
Yeah.
that they need a young player that just have the confidence and the grain of madness to take some weird fight and just make everyone follow him and just do amazing thing because of that?
Yeah, but
No, I don't think they want to play. They need someone
Are
who's
you talking
crazy.
about? Are you talking about
No,
comeback or?
no, because
No. I'm just talking about the fact they don't have an academic team, and that's maybe what is just killing them. Because if they would have an academic team, maybe they would have just find one good player that is really great,
Yeah.
help him to grow, and just give this grain of madness and just make the team go better.
I have a question for you guys.
again,
Do you
I
think
think
Attic
this team
Captain
is
brings
fine.
down the team?
oh,
Do you think what?
Do you think Attic
think in
Captain
terms
brings
of-
down the team?
I really think having no academics is really hinting at this point. I think every single team should have an academic team, and especially
G2
when you are
need one?
Turkish. What?
Would a team like G2 need one or Heretics? I feel like they wouldn't.
Yeah, they need.
I think they wouldn't need one per se, not for qualifying at least, but I think it'll be very helpful for them in like if you're talking about like winning an event, right? 'Cause
I think it's especially true for Turkish
I think
because you have a lot of talent in this place, and
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah,
the
definitely.
first one that will find the talent will have at least a lot of money if they sell, and at best
That's
an
true.
amazing player that will just make them better. So you just
Mhm.
have to find this talent, and you speak Turkish, so it's easier for you to find this talent. And I'm saying that because I'm French, and in French, in soccer, we don't have good teams, but we are the best to pick talents from everywhere around the world, in Africa, in France, and everywhere, and that just work for us. And I think Turkish should also do the same model, and yeah, they will be better with that.
all right. Let's move on to Team Liquid, which we need to have a serious discussion with Team Liquid over here because I mean they were looking good, but they've lost these. They beat Foot right in a pretty convincing series, I'd
Yeah.
say, and then
Yeah.
these other series they've been looking shaky. Let's just say that. I
Yikes.
mean,
Yeah, no, we stole their lunch money.
I mean,
Give them a
first,
spanking.
yeah,
That's the best way to put it. And it's like this. If Nats doesn't have a good game, is Team Liquid really that good? Because they need Nats to play well. They need Kiko to play well.
yeah.
That's what
have
the
you
players
seen
are
the
putting up
ult
the same
from
numbers.
Serial?
Yeah, no, Cyril
Oh.
is just sinting.
Yeah, that ult versus what was it, Benji Fishy? That ult was not it.
Yeah, dude, I think for Team Liquid, I don't know what's going wrong for them, honestly. Because I mean, we talk about like them having big performances, but like even then, their macro is looking much worse. I think overall. I don't know if it's
I
just
think
like
I have an answer.
I don't know if
I mean,
it's just like because I mean, if we look at their stuff, right, they're still like sort of they're sort of still playing like their normal comps, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
which they're playing. Wait, I'm trolling. They're playing Camo Kiko Harbor, so they are changing up the comps. So maybe there's that.
Wait, which
Also,
match are you guys looking at?
You know what? Let's call it an experiment. They tried Kiko and Harbor, it didn't work. That's
Yeah.
why it's a Mickey Mouse tournament to begin with. Team Liquid are actually a good team. It's Mickey Mouse
Yeah.
that's why they didn't try.
yeah, I think
They won with Arbor.
yeah. No, they lost.
They beat BBL. It's the only game they won against BBM.
Sorry,
they play Arbor.
sorry. I'm looking at the KC game, but yeah, they beat BBL.
I was as well. Yeah, they beat BBL on Icebox.
Yeah, but I think overall, I think that's a combination of trying new comps. I think that Team Liquid also just like lost like their momentum that they had built up, because we see this team is a very momentum-based team, right? They especially in kickoff, where they just had the massive win streak, and then we look at their Bangkok run, where it's sort of they need that like first few plays that really get them going, really get them activated, and we really haven't been seeing that lately. And I just think that they didn't take this tournament qualifier very seriously. I think they sort of just like played normal, played new comps, trying to see what's working, what's not, and then they were sort of punished with that. I think BBL and KC played amazingly. We'll get into that in just a bit. But for Team Liquid, I mean, very, very disappointing. But do you think, is this concerning for you? Are you going to look at this performance at EWC and go, okay, I think they're going to be like a bottom 2 team, or in like Toronto?
I mean, any concerns for Team Liquid, right? It doesn't come from the CWC qualifier. It just came from their their finals against
Heretics.
Team Heretics. Yeah, it's just like if Nats doesn't have a good game, they don't play well. They need Nats to make plays for them. And sure, maybe Nats can get you those rounds, those wins if you need, but it's a very inconsistent strategy.
Yeah.
And
I think. Yeah, continue.
no, you go on.
I think they are glass ceiling for Team Liquid. I think it's a little bit the same problem than Vitality. Not exactly, but a little bit. It's a team that have a huge glass ceiling. It's a good team. It's a decent team. It's a gatekeeper team that will not lose against team that is really bad, and against some teams that just know how to handle Nats, they will lose. Against a team that is middle of the pack, they will beat them. And the question isn't will Team Liquid will improve, it's more will other EMEA team will improve and just put Team Liquid on the middle of the pack and not let them qualify to champions. And that's the only thing I am afraid for Team Liquid. I just think they will stay, let's say, top 5 for split 2. But this will not be enough to be an amazing team.
I asked.
What do we think of Seattle's future?
First of all, I disagree with a bit that Team Liquid are a gatekeeper team. I don't think that they are. I think that they are much more inconsistent. I mean, look at this. They beat KC and BBL, I believe, in EMEA, right, in general, right, because they didn't face in playoffs, but they beat both of those teams, and then they lost to them here. I also want to say that I just think that Team Liquid are a team that are just inconsistent. It just depends on who's online, right? If your 5 players are online, they'll beat a very good team. Like if we look at Bangkok, right? They beat Sen, and it was because all their players were online. They were all there. They were all shooting back. But they also have these players are also pretty inconsistent, as I've brought up before. So if Nats is not having that game, if Camo is not having that game, if Kiko is not having that game, you're sort of showing up into this middle table group. So so I don't really think that they are a gatekeeper.
I have
team.
a counter argument.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah, but I just want to say they are going to. There's a very good chance that they make champs, because they got 2nd place in kickoff, and then they had they only lost 1 game in EMEA group stage, right? So if they don't make champs, it's like they have to like show up, like they have to lose, like they have to win no games in stage 2, like not make champs.
Yeah.
To me, it's totally normal that Team Liquid beat KC before the nerf of Tero and lose against KC after the nerf of Tero. KC is, I think, the team in the world that abuse the least the Tero and that is not confident with it. And Liquid is doing great with Tero. So it's normal that they beat KC before the nerf. But now the nerf passed. yeah, the dice is throw again, and Carmine is a little bit more favored than Liquid, so they just beat them, and everything pretty normal in there.
I disagree. I think they were actually kind of struggling with the Teho, right? Because I mean, with the Teho meta, they were sort of struggling with like the roles with Serial, I believe, at the start. So I would say the Teho. I mean, with Kamek, I could agree, right? Because Kamek was playing the Teho, but also with the removal of Serial and getting Paddy Tech on the Teho, I think it was shaky for them. I think Team Liquid will adapt better into this non-Teho meta than with the Teho meta, but we shall see. So then,
And then bring us to Carmine.
yeah, this brings us to the top two teams, which is Carmine Core and BBL.
I mean,
Carmine post Terro nerf will be a decent team. Maybe not good enough to qualify to Paris, but a better team. Definitely a better team. I hope this will be enough to qualify, because having no French team in Paris will be absolutely terrible for the scene and for the attendance. But yeah, I think I think the change that have been made is a huge hope for Carmine, and I think it's going better and better after each week. Yeah, they lose this against Navi before in playoff, but now they are back, and now they are top. Not say top 4 in EMEA, but rookie top 4 in EMEA. So yeah, maybe things can happen.
Yeah,
That's the goal,
Yeah,
right? Make champs.
talk about Aves though.
Aves was having a killer series. I mean,
He had a series, yeah. I
it's-
think that they built the team around really about around it being an international super team, and I mean,
we're finally seeing a bit of that. It's international superpower. Because I mean, people have been down on KC, and it's good reason, because they just weren't performing nearly as well. I mean, you had really exciting players to
Yeah.
brought in: Sugetsu, Sadak, Elite. These are players
Yeah,
that people
Elite.
were keeping their eyes on. These are like your
yeah.
top players. And then
I think also the biggest problem was during kickoff. Vitality looked so good that Carmine Corp just weren't anything compared to them. And then I mean they had a decent stage one, but just nothing noteworthy. So people kind of just overlooked them.
Did you talk about the Carmine versus Vitality games in kickoff that just makes
Yeah,
me
listen,
still
that
some
game-
nightmare days?
Oh man, this is if we're talking about that game, Casey should have won that, but that was so long ago that I've just forgotten about it. But all I remember is Casey should have won that.
To be fair,
And
both teams should have lose. This was maybe one of the worst series I ever see in terms of game plan. This Vitality versus KC. I was like, oh, if Vitality is a top EMEA team, we'll have a lot of problem in EMEA, and they ended up being the best team. And yeah,
Wow.
we can talk about BBL. I mean, BBL on the trajectory. They are looking very good. I mean, this was amazing by them, right? This series against Liquid, where they only lost Icebox. Yeah, I mean, for BBL, I think Profect, first of all, is great. This is another trend I've been showing, is that these two teams, they had these these players that are just performing absolutely wonderful, right? Profect, you have Aves. So I'm a bit wondering like what happens if they do underperform, right? But overall, they are looking great, and the game plans so far are looking good. Now, I do want to bring into question though, what you guys are thinking for predictions for EMEA for champs, right? Because it is a weird system where you're going to have top two teams qualify, and then you have teams of champ points. What it's looking like right now is Team Heretics Fnatic as your two qualifying teams to the playoffs, right? And you'll have most likely Team Liquid qualifying off champ points, because that's what they have the most. For that fourth slot, it's actually quite open between probably BBL and KC as your main teams, right? And maybe
Navi.
maybe Navi. So, who do you think do you have slightly favored of? Do you think because for me, I'd have BBL, right? Because they've been looking like the best out of these three, in my opinion. But yeah.
it's a nightmare to predict, but I think maybe the most realistic is Fnatic 1. Heretics potentially 2, but they can be 3 if they choke. And I don't know which team will be the second one.
You trust me, Heretics win split too. They beat Fnatic. I see the future.
We say that every split.
we do
No,
say
no, I
that
see
every
this.
split.
Let's just assume they do, right? And who has the second most what do you call champs points?
Yes.
I have really a huge counter argument about Heretics win stage 2. Let's look at last year's. Heretics didn't end top 2, I think. They end third, I think, in the stage 2.
They ended
And
third.
they.
They lost to Vitality, right?
They were their third
Yeah, I think.
EMEA seed going into
Yeah, they lost to
stage.
Vitality, and
Yeah.
then Vitality just shit the bed in the grand finals.
Yeah, and even if Heretics is the second best team in the world, they won't win EMEA.
They just won't win the final. Doesn't matter. Okay.
So yeah, it's anything can happen. But I think the most predictable things is Fnatic first, Heretic second, and then Liquid and BBL with point. I think, but I think anyone could. I think between Carmine Corp, Navi, Foot, BBL, Vitality. No, maybe not Vitality. Even Mates, Heretics, Liquid, and Fnatic. I think all of this team could end second.
Wow. Okay. Let's wrap that section up then and talk about just the Americas ascension. Not ascension. The stage 1 playoffs. Anyways, we're mainly going to talk about the three games that G2 played, which is against EG, MLBR, and Sentinels. Where so G2 got a bit more revitalized. I want to speed through this section because we are heading a bit into time into America's EWC. So yeah. So any quick opinions on like this just finishing thought?
G2 is the best. It's pretty sad, but it's really interesting because G2 was really twice on the verge of being eliminated. It's happening against Unrentift and it's happening against Evigenesis, and they still managed to survive. Imagine a world where G2 isn't in Toronto. This could have happened. This was one of two rounds to happening.
Yeah,
So
EG could have made it. In fact, EG should have made it. It didn't throw that one eco round, an anti-eco round.
Was
Round 20 or
you should have
something.
made it because of the Vice bug, even from the match before, the 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that world, and it would have been a sad world for like G2 fans.
Yeah.
But I
Wait,
I
G2
know.
fans exist?
Yeah, they exist. So many
Yeah.
G2 fans. No, listen, I see an absurd number of G2 classics in my com games. It's actually crazy.
I know. I see so many too. I see too many Team Secret classics. Is what I've been seeing for some reason.
Yeah, they have nice colors. They have the nice black and white.
Yeah, I think the skin looks nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but G2 have fans.
yeah, GT are looking back. I mean, I do want to pose this question: do we think G2 are the favorites for Toronto, or are we thinking that they're gonna choke?
G2, they're
I
gonna.
mean, listen, no, choking has to stop at some point. Like
because Taeho got nerfed.
Yeah, but Trent's been good even before that. Trent's been like a top initiator player before. He hasn't been the best initiator player, but he has been a solid player, but like a solid initiator player even before Teho. His Sova is nice. This guy used to be good.
On what patch Toronto will be played?
The new one.
The one that's in ranked right now.
Yeah, the new one. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like their
Oh.
G2 is not doing anything.
I disagree.
I disagree. I think G2 can
they get
easily...
top 4, but they're not winning.
That is not. That is still. I mean,
they're playing Sunset as well.
Something. Okay. I'm looking at China. I don't see anything happening there. I'm looking at Pacific. Pacific look pretty good. I'm looking at
Pacific look solid.
I'm looking at EMEA. Fnatic look pretty good. So I'm thinking like Fnatic. I'm thinking. I actually don't have a favorite Pacific team. I think all the Pacific teams are really close, but
I think all three are so close. Yeah, I mean, Paper X have the ability to just.
I'd favor Genji because the nerfs favor them. The nerfs favor them, and they were an alright Sunset team.
Yeah, but the Paper X also are favored.
You know what's crazy? T1 will be great.
Oh no, Paper X.
T1 will be great next patch because they won't be doing stuff like forcing me to on Teho.
And listen, I think it's I mean, we haven't started talking about Bangkok yet, but no, why do I keep saying Bangkok? I meant to say Toronto. We haven't started talking about Toronto, but I feel like this is Deadlock's time, right? I think the team which will win will be the team which abuses Deadlock the most. Because I see a double
Now.
central meta brewing. No, I see it. You have,
Liquid
I
is
genuinely see a
the
double
first team that
central
comes to mind when I
meta.
think of Deadlock.
Oh no, this is not the
double
same.
I have the
Yeah, I see a double
statistic for
central meta.
the double sentinel archetype, and it's really not good.
Wait, who's the worst Sentinel?
No,
The double sentinel meta, the fact some teams plays deadlock with another sentinels, and the statistics of deadlocks and the two sentinel composition is not that great. I can give you if you give me a second, but yeah, no, I don't believe. But I think what is important when you go to an international event is experiment. So if it's your first international event, you will have more chance to choke. You will have more chance to being a little bit disappointing. And since there are a lot of teams that doesn't have a lot of experiment, that leaves us with other teams that have experiments, but I don't have a lot of expectation on them. So Liquid, PaperX,
You wouldn't say Liquid has a lot of
DLG.
experience, right?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of expectation on PaperX. I'm sorry.
No,
You
I'm talking
don't.
about Liquid. Like they don't have a lot of experience, like apart from Nats. Actually, no,
I mean,
that's
Patatech
not
does.
true. Yeah,
Patty
Paratech.
Tech
They
No, that's
played
my
the,
bad. That's my bad.
last.
Nats probably
They
has
played the
international
last one.
experience at the Toronto at the event.
I think it's
Yeah.
more a matter of first time. If it's your second time, then it's fine. But if it's your first time, you're more likely have chance to choke in the final as G2 did. So yeah, I think G2 and Fnatic are clear favorite on this one with maybe Sentinels and GNG.
Yeah.
let's move on to the Americas qualifiers, which again, okay, we really do have.
So that's a lot of games. And then rather than the last game starts in 30 minutes. So
Yeah, so.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
Let's really speed this through. Furia G2G, not great. Haven't really seen an improvement from them. Who did not play? What? Why is there a bye? Am I crazy? What?
nope.
What's going on with the bye here?
They were just given a bye.
What? Okay, I guess. Okay.
In fact, Loud didn't participate. That's why.
Oh, that's
Pro
why.
and
Yeah.
PUBG have their place.
Wait, why did Loud not
Wait, so what-
participate?
One more team didn't participate then. Why didn't Cloud participate? That's a good question.
It's just think they just want to have time to rebuild their roster and prepare their split 2, I think.
Yeah, this is a Mickey Mouse tournament. Even Loud doesn't want to play.
Yeah.
But
And Loud doesn't need the money either.
don't they? I think they've been pretty open about not having all the money.
And that's why they
Yeah.
couldn't keep Sadat, right?
Yeah,
Unless
they couldn't keep their roster. They couldn't even keep their roster back in when they won champs, and then they lost.
Yeah,
keeping
but
losing
that's
players.
but Sentinel just gave
I know, 'cause they have-
Pankar and Sasi the big money.
Because they have a ton of esports teams. Like they're not. I think they have a few other esports as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, but let's move on then. But to talk about Leviathan, who benched Demon 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're playing with Sato and they have played Okino's. I think they looked probably worse.
Better?
No? Better? You think better?
No. I think they look better. They haven't played good, but at least the roles make sense now. You know, no more King on Neon and
Yeah.
Demon 1 on Raze. You know, it's
I mean,
yeah.
it's hard to
if
tell.
the
when
roles
the
make
only
more
team you
sense.
beat is
These are still
Furia.
good players. I think they'll figure it out. They'll take some time, but now that the roles have been established and like in a proper form, it's just like you've already hit rock bottom, right? There's no way you go down from here.
Yeah,
You have fixed roles now. Surely you just go up.
that's
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you really can't go down from where they are unless you lose to Furia, which I mean, I don't know if that's possible.
Nice.
They-
Thanks for
like,
the lead.
They beat
You
Furia
have
3
n-
times. That's the only team they beat.
That's so sad. I really just hope Leviathans continue to get new kids. The Distrator to Latam doesn't deserve any win. And I just hope they go back to their roots and deciding to pick another team to pick a LATAM team for next year, because this is really a shame. You go international to doing this result. This is laughable.
It's a completely
And
different
Cruise
team.
What?
It's a completely different team, though. It's not like they kept the same roster. They changed.
Yeah. Because they just take Aspas and that carried them last year, and now they are
I mean,
nothing
they
without
changed.
Aspas.
They changed their arguably the two best players, Manzinho and Aspas. So.
Yeah.
But
They should have go back to
I mean, they have
to a
King,
LATAM team.
IGLing, and Yoru. Like that just
Yeah.
just
yeah.
It's a joke.
Let's move
Yeah.
on to then Crew, who put up pretty disappointing performance from them, I'd say. They were looking really good in groups. So is C9, another two
I mean-
groups merchants right there,
yeah.
who have not been looking so great after the groups. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to say.
At
about
least C9 wasn't that bad. They beat Crew Esports. They only lose against 100 Thieves. They are top 6, I think.
Yeah.
Top 5.
They're
Yeah.
they're top 5 in this tournament, but top 7 in America's
But
overall.
Crew didn't play with their full roster, right? Pretty sure they had like
Oh,
two
yeah.
subs.
Yeah. They had some subs.
Yeah, their best player couldn't play. So again, I think it's a like I said,
Oh,
Mickey
they
Mouse
played
doesn't
as
matter.
traded. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I also forgot about
I
that.
wonder
Don't
if-
worry.
I wonder if.
They don't have Kismet, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Mm,
So sad for Cloud9.
yeah. Okay, and
Oh,
then
they didn't play with Shy either. Yeah, they didn't play with their two best players. Or
Yeah.
if you want to say Mazino is the second best player, they didn't play with like their two solid players, so it's fine.
Yeah.
okay, now let's talk about
Ye-
NRG, who did qualify into
Ooh, listen, the
EWC.
bounce back is crazy. I love FNS, but like he was a problem.
and winning winning non-important non-VCT events. Back at it again. They are the first team to qualify for EWC for Americans, and I mean they looked good. What can I say? They looked really good without FNS. I mean, Scuba, decent.
Look at
he's
map
good
3.
at it. Yeah, map 3.
Wait.
Man, listen, Scuba had a banger game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did.
They knew what they were doing. Also, Haven was
What
also
the
kind
game
of
where
a
he
throw
dropped 3
from.
kills? Wasn't there one he dropped like 3 kills? Or
Yeah, no, it was ridiculous, but
Haven, I don't know what 100 Thieves was cooking on Haven or how they got 11 rounds. Listen, if I'm 100 Thieves, right, you need a roster change at this point. You just need more consistent roles because Boost You again on Breach is not doing well. Travis, he still can't play any movement duelists, and like bouncing around like this doesn't make sense right now because you don't have a player who can play these roles to a good level. Boost You, he's a good player, he's a solid IGL, but he cannot play Breach, so you need a Breach player.
okay. That's
Yeah.
fine. Then let's talk.
Maybe
let's talk
they should stick to more Yoru. Like that's the only like viable solution I see if they want to stick with the same like 5 people, so 5 players.
I just think 100 Thieves just as an org are just so inconsistent. Like they're so unpredictable.
Aren't they consistent being in just at the level to qualify, or just a little bit under to qualify? I don't remember them totally bombed some event and just being some unlucky in some draw when they end really low, and when they are not unlucky, they are just in a little bit higher from the middle of the pack.
I mean, yeah, they gatekeeper team. That's what you can call them. But again, they are a gatekeeper team which has the potential to beat the very best teams. They can beat a G. Okay, they haven't beaten a G2 so far, but they came very close, and I think they can
Yeah.
definitely fight the very best teams in Americas. But when it matters, they just don't perform.
Mhm.
Like if you're gonna play MIBR next, what do you think their odds are?
If they're playing what?
They're playing MIBR next in like 20 minutes.
They're playing Library. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I was gonna talk about that. Like that game is just genuinely so unpredictable because like you got Asuna, like you really just don't know what you're gonna get out of him. Is he gonna jumping headshot 3 people out of the air, like, or is he just gonna run at people and die?
Isn't 100 Thieves has won any BO5 in their career?
Has who?
When was the last time they won a VO5?
100 Thieves?
Yeah.
Against G2, right? Last year.
It has to be.
Split
It
two?
has to be
Yeah, you're
last-
right.
Yeah, yeah,
last year,
versus
yeah.
G2.
You are right.
Wait.
Yeah.
They 3-0'd G2. I don't remember this. Damn.
No,
Yeah.
G2. This was a horrible series to watch. G2 was. They were trolling. I remember that game was horrible.
Just remember watching like one map. I forgot about it.
I watched
Oh yeah, because 100 Thieves were first seed going into Shanghai when then they
Yes.
got 13-1 by Heretics.
yes.
Damn,
Okay.
forgot about that.
So do you wanna make a prediction?
Who played
of-
what?
Do you wanna make a prediction of 100 Thieves MIBR, which is happening in 20
Ah.
minutes?
I say I predict Amabia only because I want Nate Shot tweet. That's all I want. I want Nate Shot to crash out, and that's what I live for.
Yeah, that's.
I think MIBR is the best. I think MIBR is the best team there, but again, they maybe have more the head to prepare for Toronto, and 100 Thieves is a team that really want to win and have. Yeah, if they don't win this game, they are in holidays for 2 months, so they have to win this one. While MIBR will take this one maybe less seriously, so I will say 100 Thieves on this one.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I think that 100 Thieves are going to take this as a very serious sort of match, but MIBR don't really care. So I think 100 Thieves will be. I think they just have the more motivation to win this match compared to the other. But yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to change your bets, and it's a 2 versus 2.
2 versus 2. So yeah.
I say it might be our 3-2 100 Thieves. Anyway, prediction for the score.
I think
Okay.
either way it will be 3-2. I think this will be.
It
a
really-
good
yeah.
series.
This definitely goes to 5 maps.
No, I don't think.
You don't think it goes
Even
to
if
5 maps?
MIB, I don't. I think 5 map is something that is really rare. Even if 2 teams are exactly at the same level, since every game is a coin flip, then for example, when you arrive to game 4, you have a team in 2-1, and then you have 50%
Yeah,
that
it's the
the
same-
team
it's
in
the same
2-1 just
percentage.
won. So,
It's the same
so
odds
yeah,
of a 3-2 than a 3-1. Yeah.
so that's why I don't. I'm not sure, and I think if you are MIBR, you don't want to have 5 games. You have to prepare to Toronto. Having a 5 game now would be
Mm-hmm.
destructive, and yeah.
Yeah, and how deep is 100 Thieves map pool?
Uh,
Are they even good on 5 maps?
They
not-
should be.
they're decent on the like 5 maps, but I wouldn't say that they're not looking good. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
They have some they have some pretty okay maps, but
What was the map they took off
I
G2?
mean, Icebox, Split, Fracture, Lotus. Not Lotus. They.
yeah, they can play
Let's
5
split
maps,
them.
but I wouldn't say they're favorable.
Alright, they won. Yeah.
They won a.
I mean, if we see a Lotus, maybe.
They won
It's not
split.
Lotus. If we see a Fracture.
Fracture.
Thing is that-
G2 banned Fracture, that's yours.
Against MIB, if we see a Fracture, I think 100 Thieves should win that map. Same, I'd say, for Split. But then again, I think at this point, their comp will be figured out. If the MIB should have anti-started their comp by now. We'll see. It's in 20 minutes. We'll see.
Yeah.
Move on then to Pacific's EWC, where
This was really fun.
this was
Oh, yeah,
format
man.
was the format was really weird, but I honestly
And the
didn't mind
games
it.
were so good. Man, I watched every
Yeah.
single game, and they were all so fun.
I couldn't watch every single game, but I caught some of them because they were like 2 a.m. But Global versus T1. I mean,
The
guess
games
that's
weren't
the first
streamed.
Yeah.
There were no games streamed.
So,
so,
before we
Wait,
start,
hold
what do
on.
you think about BO1 for
Why
groups?
am I?
I don't
Yeah,
like,
well,
I don't like
I
BO1.
refreshed the VLR, I guess. You know, like
Not like BO1.
Yeah,
don't like
BO1 is a
BO1s?
little bit weird.
I think they're pretty. I think they're very Mickey Mouse.
yes.
I
they
can
definitely-
understand.
But this
I
entire
can
thing is Mickey
understand-
Mouse.
That is.
I can understand BO1, but you need more games. Only 3 games for BO1 is not possible. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that. No one's watching, so let's just get it over with. Like, who's actually gonna care? How are you gonna complain if no
That
one's
too.
actually watching the game? And it's at Paper X1, like that.
yeah.
Again, but I wanted DRX to win. I want Pacific to be a good region. If DRX can't win in a Mickey Mouse tournament like this, where something is back on Soba, and they're playing fucking Chamber in 2025, sure.
I don't think Paper X care. Like I think they're just running it down and just winning. I think that's just that's just Paper X though. Like
That is
Yeah,
just Paper X.
you guys
That's
see
their
the
style.
Ascent Conk by PaperX? I'm just saying.
We click on the game.
Yeah, no, Devi can go back to Cypher or Vice. They have Jink playing. Actually, Jink can go back to Orbit. And basically, a long story short, they can make double sentinel work on most maps.
Mhm.
I
Like,
see the
double
double
sentinel does
sentinel
work
meta.
on most maps.
I can see it working on maps like Split, but PaperX won't play double sentinel on Split. But I see it. I see the storm coming. Anyway, PaperX won. That's all we know. So we couldn't watch the games.
Yeah, Paper X
Yeah.
won.
What
So
were the scores?
uh, they were 8-13, 37, 32-11. So
Yeah.
If they have only the time to do 3 games, I don't understand why they didn't do a game with the top 1 and the winner is qualified, a game with the top 2 and the loser is out, and the grand final with the 2 teams that remain, so the loser of the top 1 team and the winner of the top 2 teams. That would have been way more fair than just doing a semi-final, which is basically a qualifier games.
Yeah, this format was horrible. I mean, Paper X, all they had to do is beat Team Secret to qualify.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's
Global esports look good somehow. I'm
Global
actually
Esports-
happy about that
yeah,
for
Global
once.
Esports did look
they
good.
beat T1.
They
I
beat
mean,
T1.
is this T1? We couldn't again watch the games, but is T1 looking
Yeah.
bad or is Global actually looking like a real
I mean,
team?
even
Nah, they won 2 games.
thing is,
You can't
Global,
say
they
this,
had the
they just won 2 games, 2 BO1. That's mean
Yeah.
nothing.
no. Okay, thing
And
is, Global
Talon
always
just
had the potential to play good, but unfortunate circumstances, the coach got fired for being too horny, and
Oh right,
They-
yeah.
Yeah, but Global did pick up some amazing. They did pick up
yeah,
two
they got
very good-
MCE.
They got MCE
They
and they
legit got
got
the great one of the best coaches in
yeah, they got
Americas
MCE
right
Yeah.
now.
and they got a platoon from YouTube analysis actually. So pretty interesting there.
Yeah.
All right, I think
Yoman is, I think, solid player,
uh,
but
yeah, I do want to wrap this section up because we have 20 minutes left, and
Okay.
we'll get into the drama because there's been a
Oh,
lot.
Yeah, the tier 2 stuff.
So first,
Yeah.
we will
Let's go
talk
through our
about this thread of the week, which is Floor is a beta and Floor is not a beta. So this person over here, Pistol Round Visol, did amazing. This was I mean this rage bait. This was clearly rage bait. I hope, but this was
I mean,
this was a good 100 upvotes, and it was just basically a whole thread of analysis of why Floor is a beta, and this somehow got someone motivated over here, which was that's that person to write like 3 whole page documents on why Floor is not a beta, and I mean it's like
wait, I think I'm on there somewhere on that third.
you're probably on here. I mean so many people are on here. I mean this was
Oh, I didn't. Oh, Pistol Round Visalt is on there.
Yeah, they were just arguing about why if Floor was the beta or not. I mean, this was crazy.
I mean, let's take a poll. Is Floor a beta? Like, do we think she is? I think we gotta talk about
I don't think it matters.
I
guess that's true. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
yeah. So I mean,
I think I have 2 takes about this debate. First, I think the 2 threads are good. It's nice to think, to say things, to write something that will try to just make you to conscientize what you believe, you know, and say put word on what you feel. And debate is always nice. But also, I think if some people say that Floor is a beta, is that it's the most assisted duelist on the league. And I think being a duelist that can be assisted is a skill that you have to train. Not every duelist know how to play as a team. And I think Floor is really good to play as a team, and that, of course, Mercy is also heavily
you're saying
underrated.
Floor is
and
good
is
with a
amazing.
team.
What?
You're saying Floor is good in a team environment. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I think she just know how to play with a team, and a lot of duelists doesn't know how to do it, and that's a skill every other duelist should pick from Fluorescent. So yeah, she's an assisted duelist, but it's a good thing, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
This okay, wait. So apparently, like the stream audio is like really fucked up.
Oh.
So probably a few minutes ago. I have no clue.
Oh, that's a relief.
Wait, is there? Wait, what server is the thing on?
I have no clue what the audio, what's fucking up though.
Because all 4 of us are in different regions.
Yeah, give me a second. This.
I think it's only your mic, Nats.
My
Maybe
mic?
you don't have set up. Yeah, I think maybe you might have not set up the good mic on OBS. For example, maybe you have the USB camera that is set up as a mic, and sometimes when it's doing that for me, that have some problems. So maybe just check it.
This is a pain. What the fuck's going on?
I'm actually curious. What is that ad about? No one can
Like-
chat like Chachi.
Damn, we got the EMEA on, and now we got a tech pause.
Yeah.
Relay Bolt trying to just pinch in, has a shot, overdone, pop buzz is absolutely massacring them. A 3K, the fourth. Maybe looking for the ace, but Valen a bit of a world away, but Buzz is hot on his heels. He is looking to run him down. Tucked into the corner, can't quite make it happen. A last stand for Valen.
Okay. uh. Wait, are we still live? Wait, are we still live or no? Oh, okay. Okay, wait, wait, here, what if I deafen in the call? Would that change anything?
Shit. I have no clue what's going on. Wait, I've deafened. And I'm just gonna check. I wanna see if this is my mic. It is my mic.
Okay.
Was it your mic?
I think it is my mic.
Okay.
I'm gonna need someone to check if it's better or not. But yeah.
It sounds fine on Discord. I let you know if
Yeah,
like,
sounds fine on Discord.
sounds good. Yeah, it sounds better.
I think
it
it's good.
sounds, okay.
Nah, okay. Okay.
We're
That's
back.
over with. Let's go back to the drama. Okay, okay. Where were we? We were talking about fluorescent being a beta or not, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yes or no? I think personally, I do not believe fluorescent is a beta. I think she was making quite a good amount of plays overall. I thought she was entering well. I thought she was just playing off Moses' Yuto. And then I just think that's sort of just how Apex called around it, right?
I think she's
Yeah.
I think she's a system baiter. I think she does bait, but I think it's part of like the team. Like I think Mosley sets up the utility for her so that she can just take second contact.
Isn't that just trading? Like that's not that's just called trading your teammates.
I mean it is, but like
Yeah, I don't
see,
think she's.
yeah.
I don't think
I-
she's
I
a
think-
baiter. I think that's.
I don't think she's like a full baiter like a Reyna like one of those Reynas in rank that just like bait your entire team and just don't peek. But I think she is. Yeah.
I guess
think
the
it
only
works.
thing you could
I think
say
her
was
playstyle
in the
works.
start, right? In the start when she played Yoru, she just used her TP way too often. And I know, like Yoru is supposed to TP out, but it'll be better if you don't bail out on your teammate and fight with them. But I guess like that's a one-off thing, like which happened like 2 games at the very start. I haven't called her a baiter exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she's a beta.
All right. But then let's get into some other thoughts, which is first of all, XLGU got I don't have an
Yeah.
article here, but XLGU got suspended for being toxic in ranked, and I think it was match fixing like 14 years ago or something, bro. It was something ridiculous, but
Yeah,
2016.
that was all whack to me. Like that was all really weird because like if you do something in Counter Strike, how does that affect what you in Valorant? Like
I have no clue. I mean, Yampi is literally banned from Counter Strike, and he plays
is he
perfectly fine
actually?
in Valorant. So I think
Yeah.
it was the org's decision to suspend him, which was because just for PR, I
Just the
guess.
org system?
Wasn't there like one more allegation, something about him referring to Taiwan as a country, something along those
Oh
lines?
yeah, there was something about him
Oh, no,
on
was it
Steam.
Hong
His
Kong?
Steam profile was like the Chinese president, and then it was like pro Taiwan and not Taiwan, Hong Kong, pro Taiwan
Hong
independent
Kong,
league.
yeah.
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 But then
Ah.
he comes back and he says no, that I was not pro Hong Kong independency. He also says that that Steam account wasn't his. He says that I did match fix ago in Valorant and CS:GO or something, but that I was punished for that, and so I served my
Yeah.
sentence. And he leaves XOG, so he isn't just suspended anymore. He's not part of XOG because of this controversy. So XOG have to get out new players. I have read around that XOG have supposedly picked up Mid-Eye from TE, which is
Yeah.
which is not a great player. I'm gonna be honest. I
Yeah,
think
you could say
He's-
mid.
Yeah.
he's mid. Yeah,
That-
he's actually
yeah.
pretty worse than mid. I think he's looked like one of the worst people in the tournament, but it's fine.
Oh, did he actually? I thought they were
Shouldn't they
gonna
just
play with
stick, they
Martin.
should stick with Martin? Yeah, they should stick with him. I think he did
I
all
don't know why
right.
they didn't do that. I just loan him. I wonder. Yeah.
But I mean,
Do you think they can even?
it's just a role clash from Martin. He's a good player because he plays Senti, which
Because it worked in that. What was that the random off-season tournament, right?
yeah, but they didn't
the-
have
yeah.
XOG's roster. They just had some random other people.
No, not the Evo thing. I meant the other one. The Asian one with like $100,000 prize pool.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh.
weird format.
Yes, but they didn't have in the Asia one. Their roles are weird, no?
The roles were weird, but they didn't
Yeah.
because
They,
they beat.
they had Coconut
yeah.
playing on Initiator and Beaver, so
Yeah.
Hmm.
I wonder if it's possible to like get slowly on loan. Do you think? I wonder if that'd be a thing. Like, you just get him just for Toronto.
I
You
mean,
think they do that?
It's possible, but I don't know. It just
Is
depends
that
on,
even allowed?
it is allowed.
Okay,
It just depends if Tai Lu allow it and if Slowly has a visa.
Tyloo is not
Oh
like
yeah,
slowly to leave.
but but he's not gonna. It's not like Ty Lue are doing anything in the next month or two.
I mean, they might just want to keep him for like pracking.
I guess. Yeah.
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 I want EDG to shell out the big bucks, eat slowly from Tyloo, and become the best team in the world. Like, it's okay.
But yeah.
And it's specific in this time that we can be sad that there are no tier 2 league in China, which I think is a shame.
There is a tier 2 league, it's just not on VLR.
There is a tier 2 league. It's just not on VLR.
Yeah, but it's they are really a tier 2 league because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not even on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is pretty good at tracking that. Isn't more some third-party
It exists.
tournament that qualify to Ascension, but it's not a real tier 2 league.
it is run by someone else, but it is considered tier 2.
I don't know how.
Yeah,
it works.
but it's not really a league. It's more a championship. No, it's like one cup. No?
It's like what China were doing before, like for Ascension qualifiers, where they just had like a bunch of teams
Yeah.
to play each other in tournaments.
Yeah,
they had the
lot of
they
tournaments
had-
and winner go to Ascension. Yeah.
It was
But that's not good for stability. That's not. You can't know. Oh, this team is the best team in tier 2 China. We can just ask one of these players that help us to replace you, and yeah, that would have helped.
yeah.
I think.
Anyways, let's go on to the next information, which is that M80 left Valorant. They
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big one. This is because this they were like the B team alongside Rare Atom in China that they were so close to qualifying and they just didn't. And now they've
they're the
left Valorant completely. No tier 2, no tier 1, nothing. Maybe
the
it's
Heretics of tier
possible.
2.
It's possible for them to come back in 2027 with the re-partnership, but unlikely
I
now.
doubt it.
Unlikely. So, yeah. I mean, this.
Because also 2 of their players went to tier 1,
Yeah,
so
their roster
that's
was
the
gone.
problem with tier 2 though. It's impossible to keep the same roster for Ascension. Because if you look good, tier 1 teams are just gonna take your players.
Yeah.
That
It
was the
depends
Basically,
on
like
how you do.
they basically became an academy team.
I mean,
Couldn't do anything.
yeah. The only other team that the only team that stayed together was G2, and that's because they wanted to stay together, right? Because otherwise.
Yeah.
XLG also.
Yeah, but XLG they no
Mate.
XLG
They didn't stay together.
XLG didn't stay together. They had like a bunch of they picked up new players and stuff.
They picked
Yeah,
out
but
entirely new
that's
roster for tier
not
1.
Yeah, they only played together with one.
really.
Yeah, they only stayed together for like 1 year.
Yeah. Like Coconut,
Yeah, but
I think, or it was
they didn't
Happyway
get
was like the
much.
only one. Or was it Happyway and Coconut? I think were like the only 2 people that were on the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So XLG, yeah, no, this is what I'm saying. If you're good in Ascension, you win Ascension in that first year, you're chilling. But if you're consistently picking up good players, you're not winning Ascension, you can't keep those players because they're gonna want to go to tier 1 and you're gonna sell them, right? So
Yeah.
because you have
It's
to.
not that true in NA. To be fair.
This is,
That's a big problem of NA. They don't. In every part of the world, there are a tier 2 system that is usually good. In League of Legends, in Europe, the tier 2 system is perfect. It's amazing. In Korea, it's also really good. The partner team does a good job. But in NA, it seems people doesn't care about tier 2 and can't have. I don't know why. I can't explain that, but when you see the viewership, NA should be at the top in terms of viewership. They should be top 1 because it's maybe the biggest in terms of population. It's the biggest in terms of level. It's the biggest in terms of investment. It's the biggest in terms of maybe even player pool. But they have a lot of people that saying that a lot of talent doesn't go to tier 1. And when we saw the actual numbers, they don't have a good numbers. The numbers are horrible. So I think that's a huge problem for NA. I think the best way to solve this is to make tier 2 being able to qualify to international event as
I
its
disagree
planet.
with that.
You just hear
Why? No, I'm all for tier 2 teams, being able to qualify for tier 1. But if I'm a tier 1 team, right, who is, let's say, an 8th place team, because tier 1 is really competitive. Like, an 8th place team is not a bad team in tier 1. Like,
Yep.
what's an 8th place team in Asia right now? T1 was an 8th, right now in 8th place. Yeah, even PaperX, they're not bad teams. And I'd much rather favor like having like an LCQ format where the bottom teams in APAC get a chance instead of tier 2 teams. And if you can get like top tier 2 teams, sure, but that'll just make the tournament too big. Because in regions like Asia Pacific, right, you have multiple different sub-regions. You have the Korea, Japan, different Southeast Asian countries, South Asia and whatnot. It'll be impossible to incorporate every single top team.
Yeah, it is.
In
Of course
that.
it is.
It'll be
Look at
really
Kickoff,
hard.
for example. Look at Kickoff, for example. The format in Kickoff is absolutely horrible because it's 12 teams. You can just qualify the top 1 team of every split 3 tier 2 league and just give them a spot. It will be a little bit harder for Pacific because they have five regions and they are only 4 spots. But you can totally consider let's play, for example, the Australian team in China qualifier. That's a possibility, and you can do that. It will be a little bit harder for split one, but you still can make a qualifier where, for example, the third seed is in an LCQ, and the LCQ fits team from tier 2 and team from tier 1. So if there are no good team in tier 2, they won't go to that to the international event. And you always can find a way, and it's just gonna make the tournament more competitive because the international event will indeed feed the best teams. That will also help teams that win Ascension to stay together because we just managed to go together to an international event. That means we are a top 3 team. Why should we split and go to teams that will be lower? And that is good for the stability, and that will also save NA tier 2 because I think people in NA will watch more tier 2 if they know maybe
100%.
one of these teams is the best team in the world and will represent them in Master Toronto and win Master Toronto.
Okay. The problem with NA tier 2 is just fundamental. Let me just finish this. Again, in different regions, you have different sub-regions, right? NA doesn't really have sub-regions. You could say Canada and America, but I don't think that's how it works. Right? It's just an open qualifier for all North American teams. So there isn't adequate representation for all the talent. Like if you're a good player, if you don't secure a spot in the top 12, like the tier 2 teams, you'll just get left out, and then you have to grind through Premier, which can be taxing. So I think there just isn't enough representation in America's tier 2. Either you have a bigger scene. Yeah.
I have counter argument to that, and after I let you speak, FN. Americas indeed have 4 tier 2 league. They have NA, they have LAS, they have LAN, and they have Brazil. And those leagues
No, I'm
are
talking
maybe
specifically
the
about
perfect
NA.
size.
No, I'm talking
of
about
course.
NA specifically.
But look at CAA. Look at South They are one league united together, and this is not that a huge problem to have one big league to represent to be your tier 2. Especially if you have 16 teams, which is the case from NA. NA have twice the team as France and twice the team as France. So basically France plus Spain, and they are. It's good, It's a good amount of team for NA, I think, and they. You know what is shocking me the most with the NA scene? How many NA team have an academic team?
It's
They
just
it's just
Qbert.
Sentinels. Yeah, I think
One.
South American teams have one, but no North American
A
teams.
lot of the South American teams have an academy team, but it's only Qbert.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's in their mentality, I think. They don't believe in grassroots. They just want big stars and make big players come, and that makes me mad.
Yeah.
And I just think they need the huge streamer and the owner of team have to think about future.
I think also a lot of the tier 2 talent is just not 18 yet. Okay, I mean, Kane Zera is like the most obvious example. I mean, Ion is insane. He's 16. Like a lot of those players just aren't old enough for tier 1.
Yeah, but you need them to be in an academic team, because the academic team will give them the basis to play as a team, will also ensure that nobody is gonna steal this player, will gonna neutrate him. For example, in League of Legends in France, we have Caliste that was with KC for I think more than 2 years, and the fact he was with KC also, I think he helped him to grow, and that's the same with Korea. Look at in Korea, again in League of Legends, they have academic teams that just search and find this good new player and help them to grow, and that's why Korea is at the top. That's not because they are genetically modified or something. No, it's just because they do this job of finding the player before they can play, and NA never do that. And it's a shame C9 doesn't do that.
In general.
In general, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, in general. Yeah. NA just need to
I mean-
change their mind. Look at APAC. Every single team beside PRX have an academic team.
Yeah.
I think this goes back to the first thing I mentioned, that NA tier 2 doesn't have enough teams, because if there were more teams, right, talent would become more scarce, and there would be a need for academy teams to find it. But there just aren't enough like tier 2 teams. You have 16 teams, it's much easier to scout from what do you call the 16 teams. In fact, most players, like most scouts, don't even look at the top all 16 teams. You just look at the top 8, or you look at the Ascension teams who qualify for Ascension.
You
And
don't
even
need,
then, right?
to be fair, to be fair, you don't need to have more teams in NA. You just need to have better structure. You just need to have the partner teams that have their tier two team, and especially it will be even better for the non-partner team in NA, because if they, today the 15 teams compete to take the best player above 18. Because they want to be they want to win Ascension, and after having Ascension, they need this player to being 18 to win these things. So basically,
saying
we
is-
have some teams that
And then never mind. I'll let you continue. My bad.
so basically you have a team that is a mix of team above 18 and under 18. But if you have more partner teams, I will just try to pick some young player. Then the 18 people will be the under 18 people will be together in the same team, and that will be easier for team like MAT and every other tier 2 team that will compete for Ascension to find players that is good and above 18, because this player will maybe be less partner team will be less interested to picking this player, and that's also another thing that it's really important for NA to have Ascension.
I think I'm gonna
academic team.
wrap this section up though, because we
Yeah.
are talking
Yeah.
quite a bit about it. Let's move on to the very last thing. Save the best for last,
Actually,
which is
we have two things, right?
what two things?
Well,
Oh,
we're talking
FNS.
about any tier 2 right now. Oh, no, not FNS. I meant like Sean Garris and his
Yeah, that's what I
yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
talk about.
accusations against the tier
I,
2.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wanted to
that's what we're
talk
talking
about, which is Sean Garris's huge 1-hour video exposing
Yeah.
NA Tier 2. There's a lot of leaked DMs going around.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't watch the full thing. I just sort of scrolled through. I
I
clicked,
watched the full
what
thing.
here. But yeah, so 22-9, you obviously watched the whole thing, so I'm gonna leave it to
I
you.
did watch the whole thing.
It's I want to explain what
mean-
happened.
I mean, yeah, so like the first 5 minutes, just he kind of explained like how tier 2 works and just the system. And yeah, he talked about Ascension, how really it is bad because only one team goes up per year. I mean, because in theory it's great, right? Because you go through Premier, you go through Challengers, you go through Ascension, you get to tier 1. But it's just, the reality is just not, it's just not like that. And there's just no money in tier 2. Like a lot of these orgs aren't getting paid that much money, like that much salary, so they're being offered life-changing amounts of money. You're 16, you're 17, you get 20 grand. Like that's you don't even know what to, you don't know what to do with that money. So yeah, these match fixers are just. It was one guy. It was the Bray guy, and then he had been in contact with quite a few players, and then yeah, the second 35 or the last 35 minutes of it was just like intense analysis of the matches and of some of the maps between, I think it was Blue Water and Burger Boys. And then after that, he had shown a bunch of clips of Fair, who's a current tier 2 player, and just like basically accused him of cheating.
So fair. So
And
Okay.
then-
So accused fair of cheating, and then is there any teams that were like named dropped as match fixing, or
yeah, it was Blue Water and Prosperity.
Prosperity?
And
the,
they just got relegated, right? So
yeah, was it across multiple series or just like one or two?
well, it was Blue Water. It was like the biggest one he used was Blue Water versus Burger Boys, and then he grabbed clips from them versus SRB, like fair clips of him cheating, because like they just played so much differently within the two series. But I mean, it's weird because Sean Garris, I'm pretty sure, has some stake in Shopify Rebellion, if I remember correctly. So
He Yeah,
And
he
he
was the coach with their GC team, I think.
Yeah. So he has, I guess, vested interest in this whole situation.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's hard to tell, but Bob already got suspended from her team as well. So
Oh wait,
from
what happened to Bob?
she got kicked off FlyQuest, I believe, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah.
Okay. So, any general opinions about like, because I mean, this was a hyped up thing, right? And then, any general
Yeah.
opinions about this event, like about Sean
We
Garris?
need more time, we need more proof, we need more things, and
We definitely
I
more
think
proof.
we should need to talk more about this in 1 week when we will have more things to analysis.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
I
Yeah, it's
genuinely
just
don't.
it
I
shouldn't
don't think.
it shouldn't be the competitor's responsibility to bring these things out in the first place. Like Sean Garrett should not have done this. I think Riot should have been on top from the very start. Even if they had like slight hint, or there might be like a what do you call a possibility of match fixing. I think they should have investigated it immediately. The fact that some like a representative has to bring it up from one of these teams and accuse these teams, I think that's a failure on Riot's part.
I mean, yeah,
Riot,
I can agree with that, but I think it's really hard for Riot to catch match fixing because it's happening internal, right?
Yeah.
Riot can't just say turn over everything you've like all your DMs and everything just for like because a lot
Well,
of
they
the
delete the DMs.
yeah they
It's
can
like
delete the DMs and stuff, and it's like it's
Because
how
they had shown them because originally it started on Instagram and the guy had him go to Discord and then after that they had him go to Telegram and then
what? Okay, that's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, I
like
mean,
he was trying to just make it as untraceable as possible. It's all done using cryptocurrency and
yeah, I mean it's really hard for Riot to track, so I can't
Yeah.
really blame Riot here because I mean
Mhm.
it's hard to
I'm not a crypto
even if
expert,
it's hard to investigate, right? It's still hard to investigate right now. But if there is any what do you call hint of foul play, you
you
still
have to run a full
investigate. You still
investigation.
have
Yeah.
to they have to put out a statement,
I think surely the
not a
gambling
statement.
websites, like even the websites that run the gambling, have to run some sort of investigation because they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, they're not losing any money because they always win. The
Wait, what do you
gambling
mean?
websites always like they always get take their cut. It doesn't matter who wins. What do you call the bet, right? If let's say I bet whatever money on one team right now, even if I lose, they and the other side gets money, they still keep their cut. So they have no incentive to stop these things. If anything, they want more people to bet, want more
Yeah,
people to
wait, but where does the money come from then?
no they
What?
the gambling
People
sites.
bet.
If I'm betting on
gambling
if I'm betting on a winner, the gambling side loses money. The
Yeah.
gambling side only wins money if I'm
No,
betting
no,
on the
they,
loser.
no, they always take money. They always take their cut. It's gambling. That's not how it works. Uh, it's basically
If
like
you
this. You
win
have two
money,
sides. No, you have two sides, right? It doesn't matter how much money one side puts up. You have two sides. They put both of them put their money on the table. Whoever wins takes all the money, and it's spread in like between the members of the one side. And the gambling side, they just take a small cut out of it. They're not actually giving any money or taking any money. They just take a cut out of the main pool as a what do you call service. The money is all
gotcha.
between the players
Oh,
and the gambling.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Yeah.
Oh, it's like Twitch channel points gambling. Is that the same format?
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's like with channel points.
I mean, it's such a bad analogy, but I guess that's what it is.
No, no, it's a
or-
perfect analogy. Yeah, that's what it is.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not a gambler. I don't know enough
Yeah.
about actual gambling
Like,
and stuff
I'm
to
not.
comment on that.
The streamer isn't keeping the channel points, nor is he giving me the channel points. I'm just it goes between the players a bit. That's not how it
Oh,
works.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Oh, so that's how the odds are set. So there's not one guy setting the odds for the matches.
No, odds are basically how much money has been put from one side. So
yeah.
let's say I put one team has $200 bet on it, the other team has $100. So the team which has
Then it's
$200 bet on it, they're the favorites. Whoever has more money bet on them are the favorites. At least according to gambling sites.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
well, I think that pretty much wraps up for VLR listening. Thank you for
Yeah.
everyone who's stayed up all the way to the end. I mean, that's very impressive for you. America's
Yeah.
EWC has probably already started by now. Yeah,
I know
Meg,
not yet.
Yeah.
you gonna say something?
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the FNS, the criminal mastermind? Because I think this is the real trade of the week.
Okay, sure. We'll go really quickly over
Alright,
this FNS
We
is a
can do
criminal
next
mastermind.
week if you want.
No, next week. I think next week we can talk about another thread because I mean this was
Yeah,
pretty old now.
yeah, yeah.
But
This is really old.
yeah. I mean, Meg, you wanted to bring it up? You wanna go for it?
I think that you just need to read. We don't need more to read it. So if you want, I can.
Okay.
So, Marved seen trailing for a team. Victor and Chet ending up in M80. Crashes overseas in a position where at any moment his place is gone for the return of Leo. Yai showing sign of his new returning, but throwing a crucial round that lost them the ticket to an international tournament. And of course, FNS retired. Unless he's been planning it all from the start. Do you think that Yai would really just get dropped out of nowhere from that 2023 C9 roster? Do you think it's a coincidence that the Jets gets banned only to be brought to head coach M18 with Victor? Do you think that it's even remotely possible that Crashes isn't only in Europe because FNS deemed it so? FNS made Chet to do those VOD reviews. He forced him to be banned. Also, Chet will come back to Tier 2 and take over the M80 rosters and bring Victor with him. He made Yai throw that round against G2. I don't know what dirt he has on Yai stars to make this happen, but I know it can't be good. He threw all the energy game purposely so his form will be in question, except for one game against Leviathan. That's right, energy destroyed Leviathan, also that they will kick Rossi and Demon 1, forcing Lev to find new player from M80, leaving the roster empty. And of course, he's kept Marved on the sidelines like his good puppet. Always Chet needed player, Marved will be ready. He's been keeping Leo in his basement, wanting to release him when the time is right. Leo goes to Fnatic and Crisis comes back home. And where does he go, you ask? That's right, M80. Or should I stay active gaming? And who else but the Fals retire to EGL from them? He's done it before. He's retired last year just to return. It hasn't happened yet, but he must be stopped. How many more players and team will suffer from one man's insane delusions? One day, you all be wishing you're listening, but you won't be listening. You will have your head low, knowing you could have done something. Another FNS masterclass. And I want to add to this thread that now M80 is out from tier 2. That leaves a spot for a certain organization to come back and pick a roster.
Man, you need to be a different level of higher to even come up with what he's written.
I mean, this was.
Also,
and
hey,
insanely
I saw myself
delusional.
on there.
Yep, you're there.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
am there.
no, Panda's on here as
I'm number 4.
well. Yeah.
Oh, Panda's there.
I mean, this was
VCT scripts that caused this
VCT
post.
scripts.
ChatGPT rage bait.
But yeah, I mean, this was.
I don't think ChatGPT even has the capability to write something like
No,
that.
no,
Oh,
no.
hell no.
This was a human craft right here if I've ever seen one.
AI could never.
Yeah.
People always say AI is going to take over. I look at this post and AI will never take over.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
still have some humanity left in us.
ChatGPT is not writing this.
Yeah. In 20 years, they're gonna talk about AI versus humans, and I'm gonna bring up this post. This is the one that. This is why humanity exists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I think on that we can stop the stream.
yeah, I think we can wrap it up. So this is the actual end of the stream. Thank you everyone for being on here. You know,
Thanks so much for
yeah.
watching.
Thank you so much for watching, and yeah,
Thanks a lot.
we'll be ending it.
Yeah.
Bye.
Reach
Bye.
Goodbye, guys.